Kia ora tātou, kia ora whānau. In this video session we're going to be looking at two different types of nose flutes. This one here is more common with our Pacific Island cousins, and this one comes from Hawaii, and so I always carry that one just to acknowledge our connection to our cousins in the Pacific and our whakapapa connections into those different motu. And not to forget that, this one is mostly just found in Aotearoa in my observations and travels around the world and working together alongside other indigenous. And of course we know this one as Nguru. And this one comes from Te Nihoa Te Tohora, a beautiful mama whale and her baby whale was stranded about an hour north of here on the east coast many years ago. And the kōrero or the story that goes with this is that the whānau at the time found these whales down there, and we're trying to help them get back out. Unfortunately, the mama whale and that baby whale passed away on the beach there, and so the whānau at the time, they buried them in the sands and just let the body naturally decompose there. After a bit over 6 months, all the flesh and all the had gone back into the natural cycle, back to papatunaku, back to the onetapu, through the bugs and the ngarara and different things that break it down, and all that was left was the bones. So the bones were taken, some of them, to create these beautiful taonga to honour our connection with the tohora and to honour the life of the mother whale and the baby. The kuia that gave me this beautiful nguru, she talked about one of the most magic things about the tooth of a whale, and she was talking about this particular one, is that the kōrero was that it was taken from the lower, the kauwairaro, so we've got the jaw of the whale, the kauwairaro is the bottom jaw, and it was taken out of the most back part of the bottom jaw, and it was taken out and especially to be made into nguru. And the kuia talked about while the mother was alive, she would sing to her baby. She was singing to her baby to communicate. That's how they communicate with each other. And one thing that really stuck out to me about this kōrero from this kuia was that she talked about those songs are love songs. From a mother to a baby, the communication is all love. Those are love songs coming out of that mama whale to the baby whale, and of course they were vibrating through this tooth for that whole time. And the thing that stuck out to me was this one sentence that she talked about, and it was that only the type of love that a mother would know. And it just bowled me over, because she talked about how our mums carry us in the whare tangata for that amount of time, and then they nurture us and care for us. And it's not to take anything away from our papa, our fathers, but it's really to acknowledge and honour, those connections with our own mothers and that love that our mothers, because they carried us, the hohunu tanga o tēnā, and of the depth and the weight and just the sheer love that happens during that time, and probably all through our lives. I'd say, another saying I always hear is a mother's job never ends. And so those love songs that only a mother would know, and I'm so happy that this one's come from that mother whale, permeated in this tooth. And so we have a few tikanga around in our whānau around Nguru, and one is we play this end here to help our babies go to sleep. This end here is for the hungaora. This means for the living, and particularly our babies, and sometimes our people when they're getting a bit sick, to help them you know, e whakarata te wairua te tangata had to come and please the spirit of the human, especially our babies at night time. So I played this many times for our daughter when she was a little baby, helping her go to sleep at night. As she got a little bit older, it didn't work as much because she already knew what the trick was. Well, not the trick, but she knew what's happening. You know, bedtime's not the most favourite time for our tamariki sometimes. So I'm going to play this in for you here, remembering that the aroha mai te mana, te tohora, is, you know, deep inside this, and what we're hearing coming out is that love. I have named this nguru, or the name of this nguru is Tohora Ari Kinui, and that's in reference to the majestic mother whale. Koina tōna reo. Now when helping my daughter go to sleep, what I noticed was that repeating the pattern and making the verse circular as opposed to a line, like a start and an end, making the music circular, which runs through all our indigenous cultures and practices, when we're looking at kind of Western music, we're looking at lines, and we're looking at not so many repeating patterns. There are, of course, but just to look at, okay, what are the similarities, but also what are the differences, and it's just about celebrating those and knowing them. So when I'm using the nguru at this end for my baby, at the times when she was a baby, it was more like a circular pattern. And I'll play it a bit different this time. Something like that. And I noticed that helped to go to sleep more easily than if I just played a kind of song that had many patterns within it. And for me, that's about keeping the patterns simple and repetitive and circular, because that relaxes the brainwaves. The brainwaves aren't as active when that's happening. And so we're trying to go into that state where sleep is obtained and easily, our baby goes into that more easy if I'm using the patterned circular approach to the music. This end here, we're using this end here for our tangihana, and that starts when we're putting the lid on the coffin. That's a hard time for our people at that point. Some of our whānau, really, that's the time when it's a very tough time for the whānau to say goodbye to our loved one, because most of the time they're laying open there, for our whānau to still be with our taonga, our loved one. But when the lid's going on and we're starting to take our loved one out of the marae and out of the whare, then we're playing this end here, all the way out until we get to the urupa. And again, like the pūrere hua used in tangihana for us, we're creating a vibration that makes it light and joyful, but at the same time with honour and respect and reverence to our taonga matewa, te pāpaku, our loved one, to lift them up, take them out of the whare and make things light. So the spirit of the tohora is coming into the whare, the waiata, the song of the tohora is coming into the whare with us, and we're using again the power of the nature and the songs of nature to help us in our tangihana and our ceremony for that. So I'm going to play this one here at this end, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to perhaps think about loved ones that have passed away in your life, might be from a long time ago or more recently, and we're going to honour all of our tūpuna, all of our family and friends that have passed to the other side by playing the end of the Nguru for them. So. Kia ora whānau, so that's our Nguru, and I just want to talk about this one over here, which comes from Hawaii, and I was given this one, and really I'm just going to share with you the sound. I don't really know too much about this one, so I wouldn't dare to talk about it, but I can play it, and again it comes from our whanaunga in Hawaii, and it sounds like this. One thing I can add is that right through Polynesia, right through the Pacific, there are nose flutes. There are longer ones, shorter ones, thinner ones. The ones that I've talked to Taonga about in Tahiti, those are called vivo, and they play them very fast. They're quite a bit more thinner than this one, and they play them very fast, and they're using them a lot there. I've seen them as far as Indonesia, with our indigenous whānau that are up there in Indonesia, up into Taiwan, and they're all made from the bamboo. So I like to carry this one because when you look into different indigenous cultures in our whanaunga and the different parts throughout Southeast Asia, down into Indonesia, right across into the Pacific, there's always the nose flutes. And one thing about the nose, the air coming out of the nose is that it's a very special type of air. And sometimes if I'm travelling around playing my vivo, the vivo, the olo, and also the muru, sometimes there's, people have funny thoughts around, or modern thoughts around the nose, because it sort of gets, it's a source of jokes and picking your nose and all sorts of things. But from my understanding and from our perspective, the air coming through the nose is very special, and it's to do with the concepts of tapua noa, the sacred and the normal, and because we're eating through our mouth there, the air there, it's not that it's any less important, but it is a little bit different when we're taking that view on it and perspective. So the air coming out of the nose is very special. That's all I'll say about that, and it's much softer, and so it's different to the air coming out of our mouth, even just in a practical kind of way, and how we're playing and how we're reaching the whakatangi. So yeah, those are our beautiful taonga, and some of the kōrero around the Nguru and the vivo or the olo, with our cousins in different parts of the world too. Mauri aroha tātou.